fine. How are you today?
I'm also fine. Glad to be here.
Good to hear your voice. Good afternoon, Victoria. Good morning, America. Good afternoon, Europe. And good night, Sydney. Thank you so much for being here today. Do you have something on your mind that you would like to
Uh,
start with?
yeah, I really appreciated the study that you did yesterday in the book of Ruth. Um, so deep and sounded like you said you only got to like less than a tenth of what you had prepared
Yes.
to do. So I was wondering if we could continue, and especially with the you were alluding to the hand of God in Ruth's life, something to that effect.
Yes, yes. I prepared the continuity of what we started yesterday. Thank you for asking. And we should say good morning to Fernando. Good morning, Fernando.
Hello,
Morning, Fernando.
hello, Jeff. Hello,
Hello.
Rodrigo.
How are you today?
I'm fine. I'm very happy to be here, and I'm happy to be with you, listening. And very soon I will meet Felipe, so I'm happy for that as well.
Oh, that's good. Greetings from us. Greetings. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Good morning, Rodrigo. How are you today? Hope you
Hello,
can.
Etty. Good morning. Good morning, Fernando and Jeff. I'm very, very happy and
Hello.
hello. I'm ready to follow you, Etty. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for being here. And now we shall pop into the whiteboard and the text. Would you like to read the text from the beginning or just with a part of the hand of God? Because I divided the text into two parts at our convenience, and I would like to hear your wish, request. We can start with what you wish. Jeff, what would you like to
Um,
start with?
see how many verses?
In general, there are 22 verses in
Oh,
chapter
the
1.
whole the whole chapter.
22.
Okay.
22.
You want me to read the whole chapter?
Or just the second half. Do you have an access to the whiteboard?
I do, but I thought I might just read it out of my Bible since I have it open
Very
too.
good. Okay, very good. So let's start with verse 12.
All right.
Yes, and I will, how do you say, tune the text for people who read it on YouTube. 1 second. Please, Victoria, tell us if this is what you see. I mean, do you see this clearly, Victoria? Ruth is here. Philip is here on YouTube as well. Good morning, Canada. Good morning, Victoria. Yes, we are at verse 12.
All right. Is everybody ready?
Yes, we are waiting for you.
Okay. All right. Ruth chapter 1, verse 12. Return home, my daughters. I am too old to have another husband. Even if I thought there was still hope for me, even if I had a husband tonight and then gave birth to sons, would you wait until they grew up? Would you remain unmarried for them? No, my daughters. It is more bitter for me than for you, because the Lord's hand has gone out against me. At this they wept again. Then Orpah kissed her mother-in-law good-bye, but Ruth clung to her. Look, said Naomi, your sister-in-law is going back to her people and her gods. Go back with her. But Ruth replied, don't urge me to leave you or to turn back from you. Where you go, I will go, and where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God, my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. May the Lord deal with me, be it ever so severely, if anything but death separates you and me. When Naomi realized that Ruth was determined to go with her, she stopped urging her. So the two women went on until they came to Bethlehem. When they arrived in Bethlehem, the whole town was stirred because of them, and the women exclaimed, "Can this be Naomi?" "Don't call me Naomi," she told them. "Call me Mara, because the Almighty has made my life very bitter. I went away full, but the Lord has brought me back empty. Why call me Naomi? The Lord has afflicted me. The Almighty has brought misfortune upon me." So Naomi returned from Moab, accompanied by Ruth the Moabitess, her daughter-in-law, arriving in Bethlehem as the barley harvest was beginning.
Thank you so much, Jeff. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And there was a question about the hand. The hand. Let's look into it. At verse 13, do you see the text in Hebrew? 1 second. In verse 13, we have the term Yad Hashem, the hand of the Lord. Here, Yad Hashem. I will move it to the empty space, and I will write the term Yad Hashem. Hi, Felipe. Good morning. Nice to hear you. Nice to see you. Good morning.
Hello, shalom, shalom, my friends. Good to be here.
Good to hear you. Yad Hashem. Let's abstract. Does the handwriting is clear, or shall I make it thicker? It seems that it's seen. I hope you can see this also, because the text here. Let's make it 5. Okay. Yad Hashem. Yad Hashem, the hand of the Lord. Hand. What is the value of hand? Yad. Yod is 10. Yes. Dalet is 4. 14. And the tetragrammaton, the value of the tetragrammaton is 26. So Yad Hashem, the hand of the Lord, how much is it together? The hand, 1 second.
40. No.
Yes. 1 second. The hand of the Lord. I have to bring the bring the board closer, and I will not scratch it. The hand of the Lord. It is 40. 26 plus. Now, which letter in the Hebrew alphabet has the value of 40?
Mem.
Mem.
Yes.
Yes. Mem has 2 appearances in Hebrew. Which mem do we know?
Man Sofit and the normal man.
Yes, the regular normal mem with opening like this, and mem sofit, final mem. Each one equals 40. The final mem, this is final mem, has the value of 40, and it looks like a closed room with 4 walls, no windows or door. The hand of the Lord is the hand of time, of the matter. Do we understand this?
Yes.
Good. To explain it deeply, what happens to Ruth? Why did she lose her husband? We started a conversation yesterday. in certain perspective. But now I would like to give it a different perspective. The sages are telling us in the books that from Abraham, Avraham, until King Solomon, Shlomo, there are 15 generations. We can count them. Now, the father of Shlomo, and I will just make part of the list. I will not, I will not count them now. 15. 15 is also when the moon is full moon. Father of Solomon. Who was the father of Solomon?
David.
David.
The 14.
David the 14. Even the value of David is 14. Please pay attention to the parallel lines. David is the 14th generation, and the value of his name is also 14. Who was the father of David?
Jesse.
Jesse, Yishai. How do I spell Jesse? J.
Jesse.
Thank you. Jesse. He was the 13th generation. Who was the father of Jesse? Obed.
Boa.
Obed.
Oh, yeah.
Obed.
Obed, yeah. Obed. Or Ovid.
And who was the father of Obed? Boaz.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah?
that's right. Yep, Boaz.
So, let's go from Solomon and go to the root. Solomon is 15. David is 14. Jesse 13. Obed is 12. Boaz is 11. What comes before 11?
Yod.
10. Yod or 10. Yod. The hand of the Lord. Something here intervene that Ruth will not deliver through Machlon. You remember the names? Machlon and Kilion.
Yes.
The hand of the Lord has come out, not work against, the Bible says in English, the hand of the Lord came against me. Something like this, yes?
Yeah.
Yes, but in Hebrew, it is different. The hand of the Lord came out in me. What does it mean? Came out in me. Appeared in my life, make an order.
Mm-hmm.
So, like you say, in the 10th generation, before Boaz enter the picture, before the 10 years, and Kevin noticed this yesterday, they dwelled in the field of Moab 10 years, and the sons are gone. Everything comes out to the 10. There's like 10 years in the field of Moab. Also, there's a 10th generation, and Ruth, maybe she's marrying with Machlon, but Machlon is gone. And there's a shift. She remains. And do you understand? In a way, the tide generation, how do you say? The 10th generation is the heavenly kingdom. They disappear. And Ruth marries Boaz. We can count the generation again. I count them in our previous podcast. I count them down. I have drawings here in the library. Do you understand this kind of speech, how deep it is?
Yeah. It's very precise, very, very structured on the hand of God as the 10th.
Yes.
Being involved in this situation.
Yes.
So the hand of God has worked in me, I guess you said, something like that.
Yes, through her
Through her,
sons.
through her sons. Okay.
Yes, yes,
The hand of God has worked through her sons.
yes. Because as we learn, and now this is yesterday Rodrigo asked me about it. We usually people, we translate life. We always need to translate life, explain it. So if something happens, we say something wrong and I was punished, or it should have been different. This is what we think. But here, the structure is that if we count, this is it. Now, let's look at the spheres. I will make a little drawing here. Here 3 and here 7. The 10th generation is Malchut from Abraham. I did not count here. I will make it a different color. I just started backwards from Solomon down. From Abraham, there are 10 generations. Here, I make it, 1 second, with red and big ink value here. There are 10 generations. Look what happens. In a way, Abraham, we can count him as crown, because with him everything starts. He sacrificed, he is the 20th generations from Adam. 20 is the crown, and he is the beginning of the correction of Adam. So we can put him here, locate him here. And I will not mark the whole picture at the moment. But the 10th generations, this is, so to speak, the first, from Keter, crown. But the 10th is, so to speak, Malchut, heavenly kingdom. And in this stage, there's a new order. And this is what she said, the hand of God came out in me. Let us all remember that she is from Judah. And Judah is written in this way, 5 letters, when 4 of them are the simple tetragrammaton. But there is the letter Dalet, the 4 here. Dalet, in a way, this is door. Dalet, also we said that hey, we also write with Dalet and Yod. So the hand of God came where? In the heavenly kingdom. In the 10th generations, they remove her sons, and comes an acquaintance, Boaz comes later. When they will return after 10 years to Bethlehem, there's a new order after 10 years. What is the new order? This is, in a way, the 11th generation. It's a new, a decade in counting, decimal. This is a new order. It's like Joseph. Joseph is the 11th son, chronologically. This is why they dislike him. They have already the order, and he's like extra.
Yeah, he's a disruption to the standard order of things, the way they're used to.
Yes. So this is what it means, the hand of God came out in me. Let's look into the Hebrew structure again, 1 second, to be sure that I use the right Hebrew. Let's go to verse. This is interesting. It comes in verse 13. Ki yatz'avi yad Hashem. Through me, the hand of God came out.
Who's counting as 10th?
Yes.
Who's counting as, what name is counting as 10th in this line?
There is a lot. This is, in a way, her sons.
Her sons are the 10? Are the
We ha-
10?
We have to look. I don't have the sketch with me at the moment, but if we count from Abraham, this is the 10th, and this is being removed, and there's a new order coming.
I have the names here
Right.
at
Yes.
Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Let me write, please. Please let me write it. Yes. 1 second. Yes.
Abraham, and
Yes.
Isaac, Jacob,
1 second. Yeah. 1 second. Yes.
Judah,
Yes.
Perez,
Peretz.
Ezron,
Again. Chetzron.
Ezron, yes, Ezron,
Ram.
Aram, Aminadab,
נכון. Yes.
Naasson,
נחשון.
e Salmon,
Salma.
the father of Boaz, the
That's-
Boaz father.
Yes. Salma. Yes.
And then Obed and Jesse and David.
Yes. So you see, between Nachshon and Salma, so Abraham is 1, Isaac 2, Jacob 3, Judah 4. Again, Judah is also 4. This is interesting.
Yes, the Dalet.
The Dalet again. It's like with David, it's the same structure. Peretz 5, Chetzron 6, Ram 7, Aminadav 8, Nachshon 9, and Salma, the father of Boaz. Why suddenly there is movement to Salma? Because the sons of Naomi died. They're not in the list. They left Bethlehem.
Oh.
It's like a brook of water, and they're not there.
Yeah, so all of a sudden, yeah, we're this Salma is what do you call it? An interjection in there
So
because
Yes?
Elimelech eliminated.
Excellent. And the book of Zohar says the name of Elimelech is crucial. Elimelech is, for me, the kingdom shall come. Eli Melech. Eli, for me, king. He thought that he is a king. And he was the 10th generations, and also his sons. So they were removed from the picture. And then the brook or the water, they streams through other people. Do we understand the concept? It is not. Yeah, it's not a personal. We tend to translate life against us or pro us. But this is a structure.
Yeah, it's an amazing transition there. You know, the whole thing is hinging on Ruth to to make this connection here.
The hand of God.
The hand of God came out. We can also look at the hand of God or the man with the 4 walls, like 4 sons of Judah that died. You remember? The 4 walls died. Er, Onan, Machlon, and Kilion. All died. What is left?
The tree of life.
The tree of life, the Dalet, is removed. The 4 sons, they died.
Now we have now we have the name.
The name is the tree of life.
Yeah.
This is it. This is the hidden name of God. This is the tree of life. Yes?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Just one question, because you already opened the names Mahlon and Kilion,
Mm-hmm.
and the other two names of the sons that had passed away. One is Er, and from this word we can form the word Ra,
Yes.
bad, right?
Yes. Yes.
And the last one, on Onan. Could
Yes.
you say something about this? Because this tree that you already opened the meaning of the word, we can relate it with things that we need to correct. We need to that are manifested.
Mm-hmm.
But Onan, I don't know what it means. If you could say.
Complain. He's complaining.
Okay.
Complaining.
Thank you.
Yes. He's like pretending that he's dead and doing nothing and just complaining, because when we are alive, we are taking actions.
Okay, he's like a personification of what you said there, that God's against me. My life didn't turn out the way it was supposed to, that kind of thinking.
Yes, he's just withdrawn from. He also what is the context of the name? That according to the law, after his brother died, he should have helped the widow to conceive and to deliver children, that they will carry the name. This is grace, yes. And he chose not to do grace and to complain.
And to do things the way he thought they should be done.
There is a beautiful Lord that says that he knew that it would not be his child, so he didn't want to do it, just to do a favor. He didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
He didn't want to bridge, because he's supposed to bridge. He didn't want to bridge, so he just.
So he died.
So he died. Yes. This is it.
But with Ruth, we have someone that doesn't want to abandon Naomi, and she cleaves to her. And out of this sacrificial, unconditional kind of a love that she has expressed here, in this grace that she has, and this gratuitous attitude,
Mm-hmm.
there's this great transition.
Mm-hmm.
Then in the family line, so to speak, but it's a tree of life transition from death and complaining and knowledge that she had observed in these sons, or these husbands. Now we have this new order.
Thank you for mentioning this. Thank you for asking, because yesterday we mentioned the relations and the structure, similar structure between Tamar and Ruth. Tamar had to go through this process. Tamar. Onan died. Not Onan, but first Er. Sorry. 1 second, I will write and I will concentrate in the thought. Tamar, her husband, died. His brother supposed to help her, and he did not, so he died too. Judah promised her the third son, Shelah, but he was afraid that both of his sons died, and he was afraid that the third will die too, so she had to take her away. She waited until Shelah, the third son, will grow up, and she put a scarf around her, and basically she went into Judah, to the source, and conceived from Judah the twins, because his children did not, stand according to what used to be grace to give life. In a way, Ruth, and please pay attention to the letters of their name, because this is the same story. Tamar, we have Tav and Resh. Ruth, Tav and Resh, but in a different order. And in the middle, in Tamar, we have Mem, and in Ruth, we have Vav, the air, the spirit, and so. In Ruth, we have a few generations ahead. And I think that Rodrigo counted the generation, because Tamar is, in a way, is the same generation with Judah. This is the 4th generation, and we are heading. This is the 10th or 11, depends on how we count. There's a similar story. Ruth lost her husband. So who will help her? And here there is a correction. Because Boaz, gratuitously, he helps her. The sages even say something more deeper, that Boaz is a corrected version of Judah, aspect of Judah, and from himself, not like that she has to disguise herself like Tamar and pretend that she is a working girl somewhere. From his own free will, he turned to her. And in a way, the passive way of Judah is being corrected after 7 generations, and we find Boaz. He's very active. He is speaking to her. He's helping her. He buys the field. He gives her a name. He continues the dynasty. Yes.
There is, this is really impressive and really, really deep topic. I was remembering that the name David is also associated with the letter He, because of the, I guess it is the number 14, and when we look at the letter He as Dalet and Yod, we have also this number 14 and potential 1 to 4.
Yes.
And it's really interesting to think that after all these generations, the Dalet, the matter, the number 4, is transcend into this letter He, the full hand potential, the full hand perspective in David. I was just thinking that this transformation in the generation of Ruth and Boaz has the final act, let's say, in the coming of David and the promise of the Messiah.
That's correct.
It's really, really beautiful, and thanks for the relation with Tamar and Ruth.
Yes. Thank you so much, Felipe. Thank you so much, Fernando, Jeff, Rodrigo, for your questions. If you don't have at the moment questions, also Ruth here on YouTube, Victoria, Venus, Philip, I would like to access another verse, unless if you have other questions or something on your mind that you would like to share.
What other verse would you like to do?
I would like to read with you the last verse and to go into it. Can you please read number 22 again? And I would like to go into the Hebrew aspect of it.
This second here.
Yes.
Okay, verse 22, he said.
Mm-hmm.
So Naomi returned from Moab, accompanied by Ruth the Moabitess, her daughter-in-law, arriving in Bethlehem as the barley harvest was beginning.
Thank you so much. Now we shall read the Hebrew. Thank you, Jeff. ותשב נעמי ורות המואביה חלתה עמה השבה משדה מואב והמה באו בית לחם בתחילת קציר שעורים. They came to Bethlehem in the beginning of the harvest of barley. Let's look. What time of the year is harvest of barley?
Spring.
Spring. Yes.
It's the first crop to be harvested and celebrated, right?
Yes, that's true.
Okay.
So, very good, Jeff. Let's write the term harvest in Hebrew. Harvest. Katsir. Harvest, the Harvest. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. So let's look into the value of katsir. Harvest. It has a structure. It has a meaning. What happens before we go to the structure of the Hebrew, what does harvest mean in English? What happens? People go to the field before they have tractors and like high-tech in agriculture. What does harvest mean? We go to the field and what do?
We cut down the...
Very good. Cut
down, yeah, cut down the crop.
Yeah. Very good. Cut katsir. Cut katsir. Very good. Cut katsir. This is the cutting. So let's look at the structure of katsir. Cutting. Kof 100, Sadi 90, Yod is 10, Resh is 200. Rodrigo, how much do we have in general? $100.
400. That's
400. So what is harvest? What is katsir? In terms of structure. Which letter in the Hebrew alphabet?
Tav.
Tav. What does it mean, Tav?
development.
Development. The crossing. Very good. Development. Very good. Katsir.
Kind of like the end, you know.
Excellent. Very good. It's the end. Because the two first letters of Katsir, Ketz, by cutting, it means end.
Oh, literally means end, the first
End.
two letters.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
All right, so kind of relates to mem again, the 40 as well.
Very good. Now let's look into the word barley, seorim. Seorim. This is a plural form, seorim. I will do it fast. This is 620. Let's check it. 300, 70, 200, and here we have 60. So it cannot be. No, it's 50. This is my mistake. 50. 2 letters. So how much do we have?
620.
Yes, and the harvest of the barley, Ktsir Seorim, 400 plus 620, how much is it?
1020.
And without the zeros,
12.
very good. This is Zenit time. This is spring, this is Zenit. Like Van Rip speaks about it in the book of Esther.
Mhm.
Because 12 in the power of itself is
The
140.
zenith.
Yes, 144, which is Adam, human, or truth. And in a way, this is interesting because the first verse, yesterday, Fernando asked about the first verse. What is he spoke? He asked about the time that the judges were judging, they were famine, and we explained that famine is basically the lack of truth, the lack of humanity. This is
And
how.
compassion.
Yes, Jeff?
The lack of compassion. And you also said the lack of compassion.
Yes, of course. This is how the book of Ruth starts. But the last verse of the first chapter, in a way, answer or corresponds with the first. This is the beginning. They return after 10 years to Bethlehem. In what time? In a very crucial time, in the zenith, when this high noon, 12 o'clock high. And this is the beginning of the creation of Adam, humanity, truth, and the Messiah. Do you understand how it is structured?
Yes, yeah. It's the structure here is, excuse me, is what we see with what the study in the book of Esther that we were talking about. So we come to that high noon time, and all of a sudden the things turn. God's hand is demonstrated, seen. There's the hidden is being revealed. Yeah, so it's because it's the end or the zenith. It's the end for the walls of the material. It's fallen, or falling, and now what remains is the tree of life. People see it more clearly. How's that, Eddie?
This is excellent. And I would like even to go deeper with you.
Okay, let's go.
They come to Bethlehem in what time? When it's the harvest of the barley. So let's, unite the time and the plot. I mean, the time and the place, first of all. So Bethlehem. What is the value of Bethlehem?
490.
Very good. 490. In what time they come to Bethlehem? When it's the time of the harvest. Katsir. Yes, Katsir, harvest. And the harvest is 400. So 490 minus 400, this is 90. 90 divided into 2, we have 45. Adam, here, in the spirit, this is the tetragrammaton, 45. Yod, He, Vav, He, and Adam in the meta, she gives birth to Obed, 45 here.
What is the value of Ovid you said?
I did not look into the value of Oved. I did not look into the value of Oved. I can look into this, but first I would like to ask, maybe Rodrigo, do you have the name Oved? Is it written with Vav? Rodrigo, can you look into it in the
Yes,
Hebrew?
I will look. Yes, I will look at that.
It matters if it's written with Vav or without Vav. Yes, and this will be the value. But before Rodrigo will find us this question, I would like to share with you what Rabbi Isaac Luria says about the name Oved. He says that this is the correction of Adam, because Adam, in the first book, Genesis, he was aimed to cultivate the land and to keep it. La'avod, to cultivate, and to keep it, velishmor, the Garden of Eden, yes. And finally, Oved was a correction of Adam. Obed, it was the correction of Adam. Yes, Rodrigo, did you find if it's written with Vav or without?
With Vav, in Ruth chapter 4, in verse 17, we
Yes.
have Ein Vav, Bet, and Dalet.
Very good. Let's write the name of it.
82.
82.
Ooh, that's very significant. Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah. I can see why they say it's a correction of Adam.
It is also
82.
yes, Jeff.
Well, that 82 is this is kind of just a side note from things I've studied personally, but 82 is the hardcore value of the first 7 words of the Bible. So we have, in Genesis 1:1, 7 Hebrew words.
Mm-hmm.
And when you add up their hardcore value, it's 82. What I mean by that is when you drop the zeros out.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also those first 7 words are 28 letters. So you have 28 on one direction and 82 the other direction. And that's just scratching the surface of the whole thing there. But so yeah. But when I look at those first 7 words, I see the structure of Adam in that whole thing. So for Obed to be a value of 82 speaks volumes. So that's my interjection there, Eddie. Thank you for that, Rodrigo.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you to share. Thank you to share.
It is interesting because Obed is also, according to the dynasty of generations, he is the 12th generation, and they come at Zenith. They come at 12 o'clock high to Bethlehem. So, and he is also interesting. He's the 12th generation. This is another connection.
Oh yeah. So besides 1020, boiling down to the number 12, Ovid himself is the 12th generation.
Yes.
And then we have one more step, and that's love, 13.
Yes.
Now we're going in a whole new, a whole new direction, but basically the direction of creation.
Yes.
The way that it was intended to. What else do you have on this, Eddie? I didn't want to interrupt your train of thought.
The name Ruth is the names of the Torah. It contains the letters of the Torah: Ruth, Od. If we add Hey and we rearrange the letters, the Torah, we start with Tav, the Torah. This is the Torah, the wisdom, the love, life.
In a way, the rod or the stick or the staff is represented with her name.
Yes.
Than the Torah. So that's why it's so powerful what's happening here. Because we have the actual staff or the Torah standing up, so to speak, right? Not just so hidden now, it's standing up. It's making its appearance known.
That's true. Plus the Hey, as Felipe mentioned, that we can see in every Hey the name David. So Hey plus Ruth is the Torah, because Ruth, she was like in a way grandmother of David. So this is also interesting.
And you mentioned yesterday something about Ben David.
Yes.
In
Yes.
66, or the combination.
Yes. The
With
value.
14. Go ahead.
Yes. This is from Weinreb. Ruth, the value of Ruth is 606. If we take the 0 outside, we are left with 66. And this is the value of Ben David, the son of David. Because David is 14, son is 52, and together they make 66. Son of David. Yes. It is a,
I don't know. I don't know if it relates to put 6 and 6 together is 12 at that point.
yes. This is 12, and 6 double 6 is 36, and this is Leah. It comes from Leah.
Hello?
Yes. Yes,
Just
please.
one question. I think.
Yes.
You just said that Ruth is the Torah, and I was just wondering because Ruth was from Moab, right?
Yes.
She was not from Israel, let's say. She
Yes.
was a stranger. She was a goy,
Outsider. Yes.
an outsider. Yes, not from our village.
Yes.
So we can think that the Torah also is not from here,
Yes.
There you go.
right?
Yes.
That's a great thought.
Yes, it's from there, from Moab.
Not from here. But Moab is, as you mentioned yesterday, is valued 49. So it's like 1/10 of Bethlehem,
Yes.
490.
Yes, this is
And
why.
Moab,
Yes,
go
please.
ahead.
Please say.
Well, Moab is related to Lot, the relative to Abraham. Lot, he was tricked with inebriation by his 2 daughters, and the oldest daughter gave birth to the son that Moab, and then the other daughter gave birth to the younger daughter to the Ammonites, Ammon. So you got Moab, those 2 countries.
Yes.
Anyway, go ahead.
This is why the returning of Ruth is so, how do you say, the term the returning of Ruth is so fundamental, because Ruth the Moabite, Moab is 49, and she returns to Bethlehem. Bethlehem is 490. She is the 10% in a way. She is like the heavenly kingdom that returns to its place. This is 10%. 49 is 10% from 490, and we take it as a lateral thing, so it equals 10% plus the 10, and
Wow.
we are at the temple. So she is returning. She is the lost sheep. She's returning to Bethlehem, and she is in a way restoring the temple. This is the returning of Ruth.
Yeah. Well, and since it's the Torah, I've heard it. I heard a guy speaking about this one time. I thought he said something really good. He said, Bethlehem, the house of bread, had no bread. The famine had no bread, and we've described it in this class yesterday and today as no compassion and so on. But now in this perspective, with the return of Ruth as the Torah, the bread has returned to the house. The cupboards were bare. There was no bread. There was no, demonstration of compassion and gratuitous actions. And now it has returned in Ruth, and the bread is back. The staff.
Eti?
Yes, s'il vous plaît. Yes.
Please, I'm sorry.
Please, yes.
But just to say one word that you sent me one letter once.
Mm-hmm.
That was Jeff just mentioned now, that without Ruth there is no bread,
Yes.
and we have that statement that without Torah we have no bread, and without bread we do not have Torah,
Yes.
Just to point that, it's amazing what you said. It's unbelievable, the relationship that was learned today. So just to thank you, Etienne.
Thank you so much. Yes. This is in a way oxymoron. We say, how can it be that in Bethlehem, the house of bread, there is no bread?
Right.
Yes, this is it. Yes. Yeah.
But we have here, the Messiah in this whole line, with David, of course, to come, but Judah, and how that name, as you have mentioned, relates to Judah is the closest name of the 12 names to the Tetragrammaton. So we see these workings here. It's an ordering. It's an ordering caused by God's word itself. And the hand of God, the hand of God is happening. Is there anything else more about the hand of God in this that you wanted to say, Eddie?
This is just the beginning. The more we look inside, the more we see things. This is just, how do you say, a little entries or ideas to, how do you say, little doors, little windows that enables us to approach the text deeper. This is just the tip of the iceberg. This is it.
It is that. It's just the tip of the iceberg.
Yes, yes. Because the more we look inside, the more connections we find. The more we read the text, every word, every letter. This is just the beginning. Once I started writing, in English about the book of Ruth, I wrote, 30, 40 pages, and I didn't even start it. I was working with another person from North Italy, and it just never ends. I'd rather not write, I'd rather speak to you. questions so far? Rodrigo, Felipe, Fernando, Ruth is writing here on YouTube. Yes, Ruth is writing, this revelation makes us see our life's events so differently. Yes, yes, that's true. Because at some point, whether we agree to it or not, we can see that we did not create all of this. There's a higher hand in all of our lives behind working and makes our life here. Questions? Rodrigo, Felipe, Fernando, Jeff, Ruth, Victoria. Questions on your mind, on your heart? I just, a little thing I brought here. Yes? Fernando? I just brought here a little. Do you have time? Do you have another minute to is that okay?
Yes,
Yes.
please.
This little picture that I found this afternoon. Lisiane is here. Oh, you lost your Discord connection, Lisiane. Oh, we're so sorry. Oh. So here, Lisiane. Hello, bom dia, bom dia. Here we see a picture, a painting that I found that is public domain. The name of the painting is The Returning of Ruth. Would you like to describe the picture? Do you have another minute? Fernando,
Yeah.
Felipe, is that okay with you? Yes, Jeff, would you like to describe the picture?
Yeah, I'm coming over to it here so I can see it.
Yes, Eti. Now I'm here with Felipe. We are listening
And
to the class.
thank you. Do you have an access to the painting, Fernando?
No, we are only listening, Eti. We do not
Okay.
have access.
Okay. So, Jeff, do you see the picture? Can you describe it to those who just listened?
Is this Naomi and Ruth heading to Bethlehem, and then Orpah going back home there in Moab? Is that what this is?
Yes, yes. And please describe, since you see in the front part of the painting close to us, Naomi and Ruth returning to Bethlehem. Please describe the surrounding around them.
Well, with trees and a stone and a path,
Yes, yes.
a
So
beaten path.
that's great. There's a path, there's a tree, maybe there's a little bush, conversation, bread, and Orpah with her back to the camera or with her back to Ruth and to Naomi. She goes into the wilderness. Later on, Felipe Fernando, you could see the painting later on, the recording, and you see she's heading to nowhere. When she's going maybe under the sun, there's no tree, there's no bushes, there's a conversation, and she cannot walk by herself. She is leaning on a stick like an old lady. She cannot walk. And this is interesting because Naomi and Ruth, which is returning to Bethlehem, they go and they speak to each other. They have a conversation. There's a shade, there's trees, there's bushes, there's a path, there's a way of life. Please look at the eye. The left eye of Ruth is a bit shadow, like she's closing her left eye. The critic eye that sees the, so to speak, the negative, her eyes is closed and her right eye is open. This is just the beginning. This is a public domain. This is probably an American painter, but there was no name. So this is what I found this afternoon.
Wow.
Before class. Yes.
Nice find.
Yes. So basically, and this is interesting because the returning of Ruth is the returning of conversation, because when we read the first verses of Ruth, there's no discussion. And there was a famine in the time guys were judging. A man, his wife and his sons were leaving Bethlehem. There is no conversation. And this is death.
Mm. Yeah, that fact that there was famine and no bread in the house of bread is also literarily demonstrated in the beginning of the book of Ruth, because there's no conversation happening yet.
Yes. Yes.
And now when the conversations open up, all of a sudden there's a new direction. They're heading back to Bethlehem.
Yes.
They're going home.
Yes.
And family, and it is going to be birthed. There's going to be a new child,
Yes. New life.
new life.
Yes. So if we look in short perspective, like the speech of Naomi, the hand of the Lord came out in me. He was acting in a bitter way through me. Later on, she's saying, this is the short perspective, but the long perspective, like we showed the chain of generation above, the Messiah, King David, Solomon, Jesus, all of them will come from this, so to speak, bitter story. What
Yes,
seems,
they will.
yes, sometimes in time, if we look only through the perspective of time and space, life looks bitter. They don't look at the way we thought they will go according to our plan, description, scenario. But in the long run, it's something completely else.
Yeah,
So,
and it has that pattern, with Elimelech and Mara, almost reverse of when Moses and the people, the Hebrews, leave Egypt. They come to Mara, the first watering hole, after 3 days, and it's bitter. But 3 days, 72 hours. But they go from there to Elimelech, the palm trees, and eventually, Moses and the people, or Moses doesn't, but the people cross Jordan, death in a way, to the city of palms, Jericho.
yes,
So
yes,
you got a kind of a pattern there too, with Elim and Elimelech, and Naomi saying, I'm Mara, bitter,
yes.
like the waters were.
The days or the years bitter her life. Yes. So don't call me Naomi, don't call me pleasant, because in the beginning we find her name Naomi, and the Lord says why she's named Naomi. Naim. Naim is pleasant, because her deeds were so pleasant. She was so pleasant. Wherever she go, everything was pleasant and harmonious.
No wonder then Ruth liked her, wanted to stay with her.
Yes, and this, yes. Victoria is writing, the painter's name is Julius Schoner. I love his art.
Yeah.
He's so warm. So, yes, Julius. Yes. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much, Victoria. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Victoria. Wonderful. She's familiar with his art, so
Mhm.
that's great.
This is what she said to her: whenever you stay, I will stay. Whenever you sojourn, I will sojourn, and so on. Whenever you, isn't that what people say in the contract of marriage? Until death do us part. Isn't that from here?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they use it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
in
It's from
weddings.
here. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yes. Yeah.
So, dear friends, I would like to thank all of you for joining us today. This beautiful conversation. This is only the beginning. And I hope we can see you on Saturday if you have time.
Thank you, Eddie. Thank you
Thank you
very
so
much.
much. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful weekend. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you all.
Shabbat shalom, everybody. Shalom, shalom.
Thank you. Victoria, Lisiane, Philippe, Bruce. Yes? Venus is here, maybe. Fernando, Felipe, Rodrigo. Thank you so much. Shabbat Shalom.
Bye.